2 decades have gone by since the world first met Masahiro Sakurai's Super Smash Bros. Smash today has evolved to become the best-selling fighting game in history, but even back in 1999, Smash was clearly something special. Nintendo saw so much potential in Sakurai's project, they licensed every powerhouse series in their name to it. Smash was built to be a battleground for legends. Once you experience Sakurai's vision for yourself, it doesn't take long to understand why Nintendo had this much faith in him. Smash represented the intersection of platforming precision with the mind games and options associated with fighting games. The result is a product that's incredibly intuitive to pick up, but nearly impossible to master. But that wouldn't stop people from trying. As Smash's success grew, so did the player base's drive to be the best. And with each iteration of Smash, the game was surgically taken apart and reassembled to better fit that competitive need. Thus began a struggle between creator and consumer, both fighting for their vision of a perfect Smash Bros. Game. In the end, it would be this very incompatibility that would lead the game to its ultimate form. I'm Glyphmoney, and this is the story of Super Smash Bros. In order to see the big picture, we first need to understand Sakurai's original vision for Smash. Smash 64 offers no playable tutorial. Instead, its menu guides the player to the single-player adventure mode. Here, each round is designed to slowly ease the player into the game's mechanics, each fight adding just a little bit more complexity. Stages like break the targets and board the platforms require the player to fully understand a character's movement and attacks to complete. But we learn more than how just to play the game here. Every fight is scored based on the player's performance. These points have no in-game value, but they do give very strong indications of what Sakurai wanted to encourage. Points are first awarded based on the damage dealt and the time remaining, both of which score higher depending on how aggressively you fought. But it's what comes after these base points that truly speak to Sakurai's intentions. There are 55 special bonuses in Smash 64, and within those, you can find a bonus for nearly any style of gameplay. There's a bonus for using no items, or for using only items. There's a reward for winning with nothing but aerials, or nothing but projectiles. There's even a bonus for not fighting at all. The message is clear. Sakurai wants you to know that there's no wrong way to play Smash. However, there is one bonus that is starkly different from any of the others. 54 of the 55 special bonuses are given positive point values, but only one is a negative. Cheap shot, or cheap play in the Japanese version. Turns out there is a wrong way to play Smash, and it's called spamming. On that note, let's examine the fighter Kirby. Kirby is a very newcomer-friendly character. He has a very accessible recovery, strong and straightforward specials, and he's the cutest one on the roster. And with that target audience of the novice player, Sakurai made a critical miscalculation. I don't think that Kirby's up tilt being this good was a mistake. I believe Sakurai felt this move needed to be this strong in order to work. A novice player isn't ready for difficult combo setups and spacing, so this would serve as a more accessible way to get an aerial combo going. But that isn't what happened. Turns out the best move to use with up tilt is up tilt. This move has everything: a disjointed hitbox, premium damage output, the ability to combo into kills, and you can even break shields with this guy. Up tilt is objectively too powerful, and broken moves tend to come out a lot more often than not. After all, why would you use riskier attacks for less reward? The ugly truth is, you wouldn't. Spamming these moves was optimal, but Sakurai had some great ideas on how to fix that. Two short years rush by, and humanity across the world is blessed with the miracle that is Super Smash Bros. Melee for Nintendo GameCube. Melee was, and still is, a special game. And to understand why, we need to talk about what makes Smash different from a traditional fighting game. The core mechanics work similarly: you hit your opponent until they die, but the avenue taken to reach that objective is worlds apart. Let's examine how each style approaches one of the most fundamental mechanics: jumping. In a traditional fighting game, jumps are very linear options. Characters are locked to specific arcs, which is important for keeping counterplay and spacing consistent for both players. You only need to learn a limited number of outcomes. But Smash's dad worked at Nintendo, and at Nintendo, jumping was kind of a big deal. See, in the platforming world, a jump can represent almost anything. It's a Swiss Army knife. The only limiting factors are your execution and imagination. This is why the platform in Platform Fighter matters. Platforming is freedom of movement, and nothing is more free than... Jumping makes Smash as a whole special, but Melee transcends that. Directional air dodges meant that jumps could be something they'd never been before. A slide. Wave dashing has become iconic for its flexibility, but the real game changer behind Melee is even more abusable. Let's talk about Melee's initial dash. Fighting games have long been home to a mix-up called the shimmy. In simple terms, it's moving into your opponent's range of attack before backing out once they've committed to an option, and then punishing that overextension. Normally that movement in and out comes with a degree of commitment, but the initial dash animation of Melee is completely unshackled. Consider the following scenario. Marth is dashing towards you. What options do you need to be worried about? Well, Marth could dash attack, short hop nair, short hop fair, raw short hop back air, down tilt, forward smash, dash grab. You get the picture, he's got a lot of options. But none of those are the most horrifying option of all. Like Kirby up tilt before it, the best move to pair with your initial dash is another initial dash. As long as you're still within these frames, you could be moving away just as fast on the next frame. And so was born the most important tech in Melee, dash dancing. By remaining in the initial dash animation, characters are able to threaten nearly any option in their kit with zero commitment. Movement in Melee goes beyond mere platforming, it's perfect control. The better you got at movement tech like dash dancing or wave dashing, the harder you'd become to beat. This poses a new problem. What do you do when a mechanic is being spammed? This wasn't a single attack that you could rework. They had made the engine behind Melee too powerful. Smash needed to be reined in, and for better or for worse, Sakurai was going to see Smash played the right way. Brawl is very much the black sheep of the Smash family. The dev team had taken great measures to eliminate Melee tech, with the new air dodge killing wave dashing and the introduction of tripping coupled with nerfs to the initial dash animation to shut down dash dancing. This left an understandably sour taste in the Melee community's mouth, but these changes were not born from spite. Rather, looking at the changes in Brawl as a whole, we can see a very different ideology in play here. It isn't fun to feel helpless. You can see that everywhere in Brawl. New characters have incredible recoveries, the ledge is more forgiving than ever before, and defensive options like spot dodge and air dodge receive significant buffs, meaning that escaping pressure is much more consistent. But none of these were the biggest change we saw. In Melee, hit stun is consistent across the board, but Brawl's approach was much more defensive. If an attack put you into tumble, you could air dodge freely after only 13 frames of hit stun, no matter how much knockback you would actually receive. With these changes in mind, let's take a look at the strongest character Smash Bros. Has ever seen. Brawl Meta Knight. Just to give you a taste of what this character was capable of, Meta Knight could regrab the ledge before ledge invincibility expired, recover to either ledge via gliding, perform 4 up airs a second, kill you at unspeakably low percents thanks to Shuttle Loop's high base knockback, or literally disappear and become invincible for as long as you could correctly mash. These defensive options were just the tip of the iceberg. Meta Knight didn't have to fight you, he just had to exist menacingly until you made a mistake. It was bad, guys. It was really, really bad. But Brawl never destroyed the Smash formula, it only shifted the focus. Landing a hit often didn't put you in an advantage state, it just moved neutral a little bit. Every hit in Brawl needs to be individually earned, and that sense of constant adaptation is something that's become a permanent link in Smash's DNA. The experiment of Brawl had done what it set out to do, But there was one biggest fatal flaw. It just wasn't as fun as Melee. Smash needed something that let players be rewarded for their skill without leaving their opponent helpless. Something between the two extremes of Brawl and Melee. And one day, we would get that game. But first, we would get the last game in the series built off correcting the mistakes that came before it. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Smash 4 has an undeniable advantage over both Melee and Brawl. This game is gorgeous. And I don't just mean the graphics, though animations and character designs were looking more expressive and clean than ever before. That same level of polish went into making the gameplay look closer to how Smash quote-unquote should look. Again, we saw development directly focused at removing the text from the previous game. Stuff like grab release combos and chain grabbing looked bad, so they were cut. Tech like glide tossing or Dacus were powerful competitive tools, but they looked pretty goofy, so they were gone too. But one of the biggest things that Smash 4 changed was also one of the least consistent beforehand: multi-hit attacks. These moves had always been problematic due to their hitboxes not linking together very well, as well as a mechanic called SDI. In Brawl in particular, SDI was ludicrously effective. Skilled application of this meant that you couldn't just escape a multi-hit attack, you could even choose where you wanted to escape. Smash 4 solved the multi-hit problem, primarily using increased hit stun on connecting hits and weakening SDI's power. And without question, multi-hits now worked more reliably than ever before. In fact, a bit too reliably. Let's talk about one of the more famous kill setups in Smash 4, Fox Forward Air Footstool. Here, Fox connects the first few hits of forward air, but fast falls before the final hit can connect. However, since the attack has been coded to keep his opponent in a hit stun until the final hit, his opponent is still unable to act despite having fallen out of the move already. But when people think back on Smash 4, they don't talk about stuff like this. They talk about her. Now, Cloud, Corrin, Ryu, all of these DLC characters were blatantly statted above the curve, but nothing in Smash 4 could compare to Bayonetta. Bayonetta's design allowed her to string a combo together off of any stray hit, and with SDI being less impactful, escaping a good Bayonetta was next to impossible. But Bayo did more than just kill you off the top from zero. She also had one of the most flexible recoveries in the game, the fastest frame data for dodges, the option to turn all of her neutral attacks into Fox lasers, and a counter that threatened to kill you off of any attack regardless of strength. Bayonetta was no Brawl Meta Knight, but that didn't mean she was anywhere close to well balanced. As her popularity in competitive play rose, so did the community's frustrations. This would be the final lesson that Smash 4 would teach Sakurai and his team. DLC is an exciting and lucrative prospect, but when it's overdone, it can permanently stain the game's reception. The stage was finally set for Sakurai to take one more crack at Super Smash Bros. And with everything now behind us, we were in for something truly special. It's hard to express what an amazingly well-balanced game Ultimate is. You probably hear that statement and think I mean competitively balanced, and I do, but everything is balanced here. Somehow, Sakurai made the perfect game for casual and competitive players. Within that, he made a game that feels familiar to veteran Smash players regardless of background. If you've loved Smash on any level, there is something here that's just for you. Accomplishing this reflects a change in game design that bucks the trend we've seen up until now. Yes, it still removes the movement tech from Smash 4, but for the first time, we got tools baked into the game to replace them. Running now doesn't lock you into dash attack or jump. You have access to everything. Jump squats weren't just universalized, they made getting to the air faster for literally everyone. Heavy characters? They're the best they've ever been in Ultimate. Zoners? They're the best they've ever been in Ultimate. Sword characters, combo characters, top tiers, bottom tiers. I can't understate how impressive it is that all of these options are viable. There are 80 characters on this roster, and there is not a single one that doesn't have the tools to succeed. The elegance of this game's balance comes from how they managed to give us all these ludicrously strong tools without making the engine exploitable. Movement in Ultimate is a monkey's paw of sorts. You can go anywhere you want, but there's always a cost for doing it. Running is more flexible than ever before, but the initial dash leaves you effectively defenseless, which is a far cry from the world of Melee. Moving into the air is encouraged, but now you only get a single air dodge, and using that carries a heavy penalty. For the first time, we have a game where there is no widely accepted tier list. We don't have a clear-cut number 1 character. And somehow, this is also the game that has 80 playable options. Just damn, Sakurai! This game isn't just art, this is the digital equivalent of the Sistine Chapel. This is a game that makes the Marvel Cinematic Universe look like they're a little short on options. Nintendo, Sega, Square, Microsoft, Capcom, Namco, these are all direct competitors who have somehow risen above that and created the most beautiful collaboration in video game history. Smash is a series that's always been very close to my heart. I've had the privilege of living through the whole thing. I've watched the series grow from the humble Smash 64 into the worldwide phenomenon of Melee. I found my main and took him into the competitive world with Brawl. I've experienced the immense satisfaction and frustration that came with Smash 4. And now, in Ultimate, I've seen exactly what this was all building to. This game, this series, has become a big part of who I am and who I'm going to be. I am a Super Smash Bros. Player, and for that, I can never thank Sakurai enough. Thanks for watching, and it's been Glyphmoney.